Welcome to the Pitch Track Chronicles podcast. I am Chats. I am here with Rob. And it had last night was a late night for a lot of us fans on the East Coast. But for those of us that watched the game, it was so well worth it as we saw a Yankee game that we have been waiting to see for quite some time, where it just seemed like everything was complete again. A couple of, nothing was perfect, but it was as close to it that we've seen in a long time. So, Rob, I want to start off with Tyone because he really had a bounce back performance. So, what was your take on Tyone's outing?
Yeah, he was fine. Got into a little trouble in the early innings. Pitch count was a little high up there, but able to go through well over 100 pitches, which surprised me. I didn't think they would stretch him out that much, but he gave us a game that we needed because the bullpen's been pretty taxed with the last few weeks of just being used with short outings from the starting pitching. So we needed it. He looked like for a while he was going to have a short outing, and then he bounced back in those later innings. So very, very good to see on him because I was about ready to call it quits on Tyone in about the fourth inning yesterday. So he shut me up there, and I'm glad he did because we needed that performance.
Donald, the fourth inning was really a rough one for Tyone. What did you see anything that stood out that you thought helped him get through it?
He knows how to battle. He's got the ability to get through innings without completely imploding. So he didn't have his best stuff, but he worked through it, and it was okay. Anytime he gives you 7 innings of 3-run ball, you take it for sure. That's as good as you can possibly ask for.
Yeah, I thought going 7 was a very important part of the game because it did take a little pressure off of the bullpen, and the offense, did their part of making sure that he didn't have to pitch in high stress. Because a lot of his innings, from what I saw, he wasn't having the perfect location on his pitches, but he was able to induce soft contact to get through innings fairly quickly and with very little stress. So I think this is an outing that Tyone can really build on and get back to what we were seeing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it was a good team he went against too, so that was a good thing. It was just the command, like you said, the walks. He had 3 walks, 3 hits. So, you don't want to give up free passes, but he did strike out, 6, I think. So, again, like Donald said, whenever you're getting 7 from a 3-run ball from Tyone after the way he's been looking the past, month and a half or so, you're going to take that, especially on the road in Seattle against a team that's pushing for a playoff spot. So definitely a good sign, but just like we said after his last good start, he needs to build on it. He can't have that good, bad, good, bad. He needs to have, even if it's not a great outing, he just needs to have another solid start. Give us those big solid starts down the stretch to keep the bullpen fresh because as we saw yesterday, our closers still can't get out of an inning clean.
Yeah, I thought it was really strange that Chapman had the better inning than Holmes did. And it leads to wonder if Chapman's getting back to the form that we want from him, or is it still not enough, even though he's had a few outings with no trouble? Is your trust in Chapman building, or does he still have a ways to go before we could say, all right, put it back in the ninth?
I'll never trust our oldest Chapman. I'll let Donald go in just a second. But I know once October comes around, if you put him in the 9th inning, you're asking to lose a game. I have zero trust in him in a big spot. What he's doing right now is fine. But 9th inning, no. Keep him out.
Donald?
Keep him out, but I don't know what we're going to do because Holmes looks terrible. Why are they using Holmes in the 9th inning anyway in a 9-4 game?
I think they wanted to get him in a game where there wasn't as much pressure to be perfect and see if almost use it as like a confidence builder that he can still get through an inning. I think that's what it was. And it'd be smart if that's what it was.
Well, it didn't work. So A, it didn't work. And B, what happens if, tomorrow and the next day we're in safe situations? We obviously can't use them 3 games in a row. And I think this is partly the problem with Holmes. I think that we've overused him. I think we've used him in innings where we didn't really need to use him. And it's starting to catch up with him now because he's lost. He's completely lost right now. His ERA is over 6 in his last 8 outings now. So this is a serious problem with Holmes. So I don't think the way that Boone has used the bullpen, especially lately, has helped. I really think that he's managing a confused bullpen. I think he's a little confused in how he wants to manage certain innings, and it's starting to catch up a little bit because we don't really have a role for anyone right now. No one can tell me what Chapman's role is, what Wandy Peralta's role is, or what any of these, or Abreu's role is, or you go right through it because Marinaccio was pitching in the 8th inning a couple of days ago. Now he's in AAA. So you tell me because I don't know. It's a little bit up in the air. Good teams have an established idea of where they want lanes in which they want to put their best relievers. You could you knew it. Like for instance, when we won the championship in 2009, we knew exactly. We had Alfredo Aceves for like the 7th inning. You had Mo set up for the 9th. He had Phil Hughes in the 8th. That was pretty much established. And that got, once you got to that point, it was like it's a 6-inning game because you knew that bang, 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 game over, And now we get into a situation where we're up in the 6th, but I don't know who's going to be pitching from one inning to the next. And I think that has a lot to do with why we're struggling. And it needs to get resolved. I assume that F. Ross is going to be our 8th inning guy. Hopefully he puts that 3-run home run aside that he gave up because he's most likely going to be our 8th inning guy, and then we'll see what happens with Holmes. But Holmes is the biggest issue because if you don't trust your 9th inning guy, then you're lost as a ball club. So we got a lot to work on over the next couple months.
I think we're seeing the downside of Boone's take on not having pitchers in a specific role, like you were alluding to. I think the matchup philosophy that he was trying to implement, this is the backfire of it, where nobody knows when they're always ready to get called on, but they really don't know when they're going to get called on. And I think that could also mess with their heads, especially when we're bullpen guys. Just like starters, they know every 5th day they're going to be in there. There's that mental mindset where, okay, in the 8th inning, this is where I'm going to be. So they're able to start getting themselves into the game when the time comes. If you don't know if you're going to be coming in the 6th, the 9th, the 7th, the 8th, you can't mentally prepare for that. So I think that's the downside where we thought it was going to work, but it's not.
I mean, the original game plan was obviously Chapman was meant to be closing. Holmes was meant to be in the 8th inning. 7th inning was meant to be Chad Green. 6th inning, Loizaga. That was probably what they were planning, right? And then Loizaga imploded. Chapman imploded. Chad Green got hurt. Mike King, who's been a key part of our bullpen, got hurt. And then when you take all those guys out of the equation, it's not all Boone's fault at all. In fact, he's struggling right now because he's been put in this situation through injury and poor performance. Something to do with Aaron Boone. It's very difficult to manage that bullpen right now. I do think that he needs to work a little harder in getting guys in specific lanes. That needs to be a little bit more. It needs to be a little tighter for me. But that's the thing. That's my issue. I wouldn't have put Holmes in the 9th inning yesterday. I really wouldn't.
Yeah. Rob, what's your take with the bullpen?
It's a mystery. That's the best way I can put it because you don't know what the roles are. Holmes is the closer technically, but he's not good right now. You can't trust him. He's actually very Chapman-esque with the way he's been pitching. His location's off. He's giving up home runs. He's giving up big hits. He's not protecting any lead. I don't know why they put him in that game yesterday. It did not make it. It was just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You had a big lead. Chapman gave you a clean inning. You could have went to I mean, I would have skipped Efros for a day. I would have skipped
Well,
Clay
good.
Holmes for a day. You could have went a lot of different options there. Blitke could have pitched. You still have him. You could have put him in there with a big lead. Holmes needs to be pitching. I know he's been struggling, but he needs to be out there in those save situations, because if he's going to get this going, it's not going to be, oh, he pitched well with a 5-run lead. I want to see him protect a 2-1 run lead or something like that. I know it's difficult right now, but that's the kind of situation I want to see him in, because if we're going to trust him in October to be that guy, we need to see him do it again these next 2 months. There's still a lot of baseball left for him to fix what's wrong with him. You really can't say he's going to fix it in a 5 or 6-run lead, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah, it's really tough when you come off a win like that, you're still finding things to nitpick, and break down and find things that weren't right.
Well, that's our job.
No, I know, but I want to say, as much as Holmes' command was an issue, I thought he wasn't reading the at bats right. I thought he was jamming these guys up on the inside. And then against the lefties, he kept trying to get that slider on the outside corner that they were reading very well. So if you were getting them off balance on the inside of the plate, stay there. Stay there until you can't keep going there. And I know that he was trying to change their eye level, but they were seeing the outside of the plate very well yesterday. So I think that he really misread the way the at-bats were going, and that's what got him throwing so many more pitches than he should have had to.
It's been the case for the last month and a half with him, basically, where he's throwing a ton of pitches. He's giving up walks. He's giving up hits. Doesn't matter what it is. He's just not pitching well. But he's the guy you have with the best stuff. And we have a lot of pitchers in this bullpen with really good stuff, and that's where Aaron Boone's finding difficulties to find a role for these guys, because Albert Abreu has electric stuff. The guy throws triple digits sometimes with movement. We know when Castro's healthy, he's not even here right now, but when Castro's healthy, he's got great stuff. Just the command is the problem. Efros has great stuff. Trevino's got good stuff. Loaizaga should be the best pitcher in this bullpen, but he's struggling for whatever reason. Chapman should be hitting triple digits on the fastball and just throwing that and mixing in that slider from time to time. But he's been better lately. But you have a whole bullpen of guys with really good stuff, so you want to use them in different roles, but you have to have a defined at least back end. Who's pitching the 7th, 8th, and 9th? You have to define that. And it should be right now Trevino, Efros, and Holmes, maybe Chapman over Trevino, but you have to have at least the back end of your bullpen defined, because if it's not, then if I keep bringing up October, but imagine if we're playing Houston, we don't know who's pitching the 7th. If we get 6 from the starter, who's going the 7th inning?
Yeah,
you have to have that role defined, because if you're gonna implode when it matters most if you can't define your back end of your bullpen.
Yeah, definitely agree. So we don't want to spend too much time on the bullpen. We've got a lot to cover. So the next issue, Matt Carpenter. Who's heartbroken about Matt Carpenter? Because I certainly am.
Yeah, that hit pitch, that foul ball off the foot. That was, my foot hurt watching that. That was a painful spot. Like Cameron was saying on the Yes broadcast, there's a lot of little bones in the top of that foot. So you knew something was going to go wrong. Especially you don't see him wince a lot. Usually he kind of take it on the chin, keep going. And
well, he's still got a broken foot, so he's out for 6 weeks, between 6 and 8 weeks. How are we going to survive that with Rizzo and Stanton out right now?
Fortunately, Benintendi's coming around. He was tearing the cover off the ball yesterday. Probably call up Andujar now, so at least they'll get a more contact doubles guy in the lineup. But it'll be difficult because Carpenter was our third best hitter right now behind Judge and LeMahieu. And then the rest were kind of just trying to figure out themselves. I still don't trust Josh Donaldson, even though he had a great game yesterday. Mm-hmm. He's just been too up and down for me to be like he's getting it going. Hopefully he does, because we need it desperately, especially with Carpenter out. If him and Benintendi can get hot and until we get Stanton back, whenever that is, and Rizzo as well, I think we'll be able to survive it. But not having Carpenter's lefty power swing in that lineup is going to really hurt. I just don't see how he comes back. I know he said it's not the end of his season, but if he's coming back, it's going to be right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right on October, yeah, and then you have to ramp him up. I don't know how that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to count him out because people counted him out at the start of the year, not injury wise, but performance wise, and he came back and was one of the key bats to our lineup. I think this really hurts the chemistry. He was a big part of the locker room. He was a big part of our feel-good factor. He was a big part of everything that we did positively, offensively. If you look at his numbers, they're absolutely ridiculous. He was on course to having an 8 WAR, which would only be behind Aaron Judge in the entire Yankee roster if he continued the trajectory that he was on at the moment. I think it hurts. It really hurts. It hurts for him personally. I hurt for him personally because he made such an amazing comeback. The guy's 36. He just came off getting cheered by the Cardinals fans. I mean, credit to the Cardinals fans, by the way. That was awesome that they all gave him a standing ovation every at bat over the series. But you come off that. I mean, you have to be a pretty special guy for opposition fans to be cheering for you in memory of what you did for them. I mean, that's pretty darn cool. So to come off that, to have the whole Yankee fan base loving you and being a key cog of the lineup, to then breaking your foot and being probably out for the season, it's kind of heartbreaking. But it's certainly heartbreaking for the Yankees because we need him. We really need him right now. Because that means a lot more Aaron Hicks, people. That means a lot more Aaron Hicks. It means every day Josh Donaldson. It means that there's no days off for these atrocity of offensive players, especially Aaron Hicks. So it really stinks. Really, really stinks.
But after the news came out that he had the foot fracture, I put a poll up on our Twitter page on who should be the replacement, and I gave 2 choices, and it was Andujar or Florial on who should get called up while he's out, and 77% of the votes said Andujar. So I think Andujar is that, he would be the guy that I would bring up, just because Florial, as good as he's been playing, we've seen where he's not 100% on the major league level. And I don't think this is a season where you kind of try him out, see if he's gained anything. Andujar, we know what he is. We know we know he has the good at bat, and that's what Carpenter was. And Andujar also plays very good left field. Not an all-star left field, but he can play the outfield very well.
Well, we have been intended to play left field. I mean, the thing that is comfortable for him. Well, yeah, but the biggest thing is that Andujar is probably most comfortable as a DH. Florial, you'd want him in the outfield to replace Aaron Hicks. But I think that the way that Andujar can just give you the DH spot. He doesn't give you what Matt Carpenter gives you, but at least he gives you singles and doubles and a major league bat, because he certainly has a major league bat. He's been misused by the Yankees for years now, so I'm glad that he's going to get another opportunity. Well, we don't know, because you never know with these Yankees. They might actually just call up a pitcher. You just don't know. They might just go all in on Aaron Hicks and Tim LeCastro. I really don't know what the front office is thinking one day to the next, but I assume it's going to be Andujar, but you never know.
No, I thought it was interesting. That was one of the positives I thought of the game, was having Carpenter go down so early in the game. And when you see that, you have LeCastro now in the 3 spot, it's like, this is not gonna. This may not play out well, especially after the way the first inning had gone. And give credit to the offense. They stayed in their game plan. They didn't let it affect them in the moment, and they put a lot of contact hits. It wasn't a big power. A lot of the runs we're on level swings that we're finding the gaps. A lot of doubles last night. And let's acknowledge. I don't want to use the term give credit. Let's acknowledge the night that Donaldson had at the plate.
No, it's
He had
fair.
a
Absolutely.
very, very good game at the plate. He had that one. I think he had one issue on the bases, but when you saw the other contributions, you kind of like, all right, you just maybe got a little overexcited.
He's got a very long swing, and so I'd say 8 times out of 10, he's not gonna get around on certain pitches, but they left some pitches right down the middle of the plate that even Josh Donaldson caught up to, and he absolutely crushed it. I was glad he did. I don't think it means that he's necessarily completely turned it around. I still see problems mechanically with his swing, but he was left some meatballs down the middle of the plate, and he did his job, and he crushed them. And to be fair, his bat has been better over the last week. If I'm being really fair to him, I still hate the trade, and I still don't like the fact that we're lumbered with his $50 million contract. But that aside, he's done his job, and we definitely need him, because if he's ice cold, then the Yankees are screwed, because he is right now Aaron Judge's protection. I can't believe I'm saying this. He's his only protection right now in the lineup. So until Rizzo and Stanton are back, God knows when they're ready. So we really need Josh Donaldson. So I really hope that this is a new dawn for him. He seems to be a little bit better since the All-Star break. So, you never know. Maybe he's going to be a better hitter from here on out. I won't hold my breath, but he's been very good defensively. He made a really nice play at third yesterday. He's showing off his rocket arm. So there's never any question about his defense. And offensively, he was really important.
All right, Rob, what'd you think of Donaldson and the offense overall?
I already gave Donaldson his credit earlier. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not doing it twice in one show. No, I mean he was great yesterday. I give him. He has been better for the last week. He needs to keep it up though, because one game is not going to make me turn around and be like I was wrong about you, because he's overall had a terrible season. So he right now is his opportunity. Carpenter's hurt. You have to go out there and make something happen, because we're paying you big money. You were the big move in the offseason. Now is the time. You got 2 months. Turn your season around. Turn a lot of the anti-Donaldson people into believers, I guess. I don't know. But we need him right now. We absolutely do. We need him. We need Benintendi. I want to talk about Benintendi more.
Yeah.
He has been struggling. And his last 4 games that he started now, 3 games, he's been lacing the ball, just like we expected him to. I still think he should be at the top of the order, but if he's getting adjusted to that 6th spot or that 5th spot and he's hitting like that, fine. But we need him. We need Donaldson. And I would say if there's anybody else that has to pick it up, it's Gleyber Torres. And he looked a little bit better as well yesterday. He has been up and down really all season. So
he really has,
those 3 have to really pick it up with Carpenter out, because I think Rizzo will be back potentially tonight. Aaron Boone said he could be in the lineup if his checkup went well. I would probably wait until we're back from the road trip, but he is with the team, so if he can play, you put him in the lineup. But we need him, and we need these guys to step up.
He's got a back issue. With these back issues, they can be easy to flare up. He's
been dealing with it as a whole career.
Yeah, this is his whole
I was going to say,
career.
I was going to say that he's been having that since Chicago. So, but I still don't want to rush him back, because we need him all the way right through.
I would say use it like a late inning pinch hitter if you need it, type of situation. But I would keep him off his feet at first base for a couple more games.
Yeah, you can DH him.
Yeah.
But Benintendi has been crushing the ball. He's absolutely smashing it all over the park. That's the kind of hitter that we traded for.
Yeah.
That's why I was so excited to get him. That's why he's an all-star. He was a really good pickup, and the way that he started isn't indicative of who he is. He's an unbelievable hitter, one of the best leadoff hitters in all of baseball. So we did really well to get him, and at absolutely cheap as chips price. So I think he's going to be in a hot streak for a little while. I really do believe that. So that was really good for us.
Yeah, that's why I kind of anticipated once he got on the road with the team, he was going to get a little more loose and more comfortable, and that's how it's been playing out. Now that he's in his rhythm, when he gets back to the Bronx, we're going to be able to do a lot more cheering for him in person. So I like what I'm seeing out of Benintendi, and I think it's also helping Donald. I think with the way the lineup was last night, it's almost like it's helping Donaldson get better looks at the ball because they're trying to attack Donaldson to avoid having the base runner on for Benintendi. So it's almost like Benintendi's protecting Josh a little bit. Do you see anything like that?
Whatever works. Whatever works.
Well, Benintendi was batting sixth, so he wasn't.
Torres in between.
Yeah, Torres is in between, so not necessarily no. But before we go, Aaron Judge hit a home run.
Number 44. Yep. He's 50's on the horizon. That's absolutely insane.
He's gonna. I think he could. I mean,
he's gonna.
What do you think he's gonna?
51.
You think he's gonna be 60?
Oh yeah. Just think, he hit 52 in his rookie year, and that's almost not hitting one for almost a month after the home run derby when he went into that bad slump. Think of now you're seeing him in a full healthy season where he is just locked in because he's not just swinging for a home run chase. He's just looking to contribute and put the ball in play. He just has the power to keep it, to have the ball keep going.
Yeah, he was doing that in the card series. He was crushing the ball in the card series. So they weren't going out of the park, but he was still vital to our offense.
He had 4 games with no home runs, but in those 4 games, he was hitting like 400.
Yeah.
So it's not that his bat was absent. It's just he wasn't getting the ball over the fence.
He's just a machine.
He is.
He's the MVP. I don't know how anyone can say it's Ohtani. I'm sorry. I like Ohtani a lot, but I couldn't care less that he's pitching. Aaron Judge has a higher WAR than him, and he does 2 things. Shohei Ohtani gets WAR for 2 categories, and Aaron Judge is above him. You can't understate what he's doing. You take Ohtani off the Angels, they're still a bad team. You take Judge off the Yankees, they're in the wild card race. So
if that,
yeah, maybe. He's carried this team on his back, and he's done it since he came here. He's put the team on his back. He's had a lot of help. Stanton has been just as good or good as well. But now with Stanton hurt and Rizzo being hurt, Judge is once again with LeMahieu and Carpenter. But Judge is the top of everybody. Mm-hmm. Put the team on his shoulders, and just saying to Hal Steinbrenner every single time he does something, price went up. Price went up.
Price went up. Better add another $1 million to that salary.
And his offensive numbers don't even do justice to his fielding. Because it's almost like that never gets spoken about anymore. It's all about the hit.
Well, it's all tied together with the WAR.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but that's why you brought it up, and it was you almost forget that his running. He really stops the running game, even more so when he was playing center field because he had a better angle to third and second, first. He was able to really get the ball in quick. So his defensive ability is just as valuable as his bat.
He's just, there's not even a question. Ohtani shouldn't even be in the conversation. Shouldn't even be in the conversation. It's on Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is having one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball. There's no doubt about it. I think he's going to get 60, at least 60. I really hope he does.
No, I think it's just inevitable at this point. It really is.
So.
But that is going to wrap things up for us today on Pinstripe Chronicles. We want to thank you for watching. You have been watching on Northeast Streaming Sports, listening on SportsWire Radio, and watching us on our YouTube channel. We want to thank you all. Hopefully the Yankees win again today. And wear your pinstripes of pride and play hard.